Okay, good morning class. Today we shall be beginning with the second chapter in history, that is foundation of the British Empire. Now the European traders had started coming into the Indian shores. Indian shores means, if you look at this, South India is surrounded by water on three sides. Here we have the Bay of Bengal. On the left hand side we have the Arabian Sea. Eastern side Bay of Bengal, western side Arabian Sea, and then we have here the Indian Ocean. Okay, so Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. So the western countries or the European countries had started coming to the Indian shores, seashore, okay, to the Indian ports, had started entering into the Indian subcontinent through these ports. Now we are going to learn about the different ports in South India. Okay. For about 200 years, they competed among themselves for monopolizing trade with India. That means the European country fought among themselves to gain superiority, to become superior. Okay, who is going to become the leader, the trading leaders, who is going to become the leader in trade, and who is going, or let's say there are different businessmen from different countries in Europe, and they are fighting to become the best businessmen in India, who is going to come to India and sell their goods on a very large scale. They were competing with each other. Okay, but their objectives changed after the decline of the Mughal Empire and the rise of independent kingdoms in India in the early 18th century. Okay, now in the first chapter we learned about the Mughal Empire. Now we learned that the entire country was ruled by the Mughals, and there was a leader called Aurangzeb who ruled for around 50 years, and brought all the kingdoms under his empire. You know that the entire country of India had different small kingdoms, okay, and all these kingdoms were captured by the Mughals and brought under one territory named the Mughal Empire. But when Aurangzeb died after ruling for 50 years, we learnt that the different later Mughal rulers who came after Aurangzeb were not as able administrators or were not good rulers who were able to keep this kingdom or empire intact. Okay, so when the rulers started becoming weak, these small kingdoms started asserting their independence, started becoming independent from the Mughals, from the later Mughal rulers. Okay, so we've already learned that all the rulers that came after Aurangzeb, there were 14 rulers. You know that these rulers were known as later Mughals. And in comparison to Aurangzeb, these 14 rulers were weak, were not able statesmen, and were not good administrators. So because of this reason, the different kingdoms that had been captured during the reign of Aurangzeb started becoming independent. Okay, so during those times when the Mughals declined, the Britishers had started coming into India. The Britishers had started coming into India. Along with the British, the French, the Portuguese, the Spanish, everybody had started coming into India. But one of the most important or one of the most powerful were the British and the French. Okay, so when the Britishers, let's talk about the Britishers. Okay, let's talk about the Europeans as a whole. European traders. Now European traders means businessmen coming from Europe. Now initially they saw India as a very huge market to sell their goods. whatever they brought from Europe, all these traders saw a very good market, okay, a very good market, a very large market where they could sell their goods to various kings and queens of different palaces, okay, because the Indian kings loved to collect different goods and artifacts from different countries, okay. So initially they came as traders, but when they had entered into India, it was the time when the Mughals were declining and the different kingdoms were becoming independent. And these rulers were not only fighting against the emperor, but were also fighting against each other. Everybody was fighting against each other. So when they saw that the people belonging to the same country were fighting with each other, they, instead of becoming traders, they decided to become rulers. That is how the country of India was captured by the Britishers. Initially, the French had also come. Initially, the entire area of India was divided among the Britishers and the French. But later on, because the Britishers were more cunning and were more powerful than the French, and they had more support of the Indian kingdoms, the Britishers were able to throw away the French, okay, throw away the French kingdom, and then become the rulers of the entire Indian subcontinent. Now let's talk about how the Portuguese, okay, I told you it was not only the Britishers, not only the French, but also the Portuguese who came to India. Now India's seaborne trade, that means India's trade through the seas, to these different ports, okay. So seaborne trade with the European countries fell into the hands of the Arabs in the 7th century AD. This arrangement was disturbed by in 1498 when Vasco da Gama landed in Calicut. Calicut is a place in Kerala. Now, because he was coming from the western side, entered India through Calicut, which is in Kerala. The Portuguese navigator helped in establishing direct trade between India and Europe. So it was because of Vasco da Gama who entered India through a place called Calicut in Kerala. So this was the first time that an outsider had entered into India through a place called Calicut in Kerala, okay. And because of this, okay, so it was because of this route that this was the first time that someone had entered into India through the port of Calicut, which is in Kerala. All right. So this began because of this event led to the entrance of other traders into India. Okay. Now he managed to set up factories at Calicut and Cochin, which is in Kerala itself. Alfonso de Albuquerque came to Calicut in 1509. He is regarded as the real founder of the Portuguese Empire in India. He captured Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur and made it the headquarters of Portuguese in India. So he consolidated the Portuguese sea power by setting up naval base. He not only started trading with the Indian subcontinent, but he also made a naval base, also brought the navy into India. Under his successors, the Portuguese occupied Daman, Diu, Salsette, Bessin, Bombay, St. Thomas, which is near Madras, it is as of now it is known as Tamil Nadu, and Hooghly in Bengal. And in 1739, the Marathas captured Salsette and Basset, leaving only Goa. So that is why even till now you see many Portuguese building, okay, the impact of the Portuguese that has had on the Goan people. Daman and Diu for the Portuguese. All right. So we shall be doing till here today, and in the next class I shall be doing the Dutch in India. All right. Thank you.